This is your brain. And this
is your brain on Tom.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Tom. How's it going? This is the big 50, 50 deep, my dudes. Yeah, did 50 of these. Pretty nuts. Can't really believe that I actually sat it out, stuck it out, and fucking actually did something for more than 1 or 0 and wasn't all talk. That's kind of weird. But yeah, it's been kind of fun. I don't know, I've been trying to figure out how I want to do like 50, whoa. Because like, we talked a little bit, Ben and I, the last one? Yeah, the last one. And I was like, well, I could just talk about how I think about the show and like what this and blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. I don't want to go too long on it, but I think it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I just, and I guess it's like if you don't know me as like, if you weren't me, knowing me, you'd be like, whatever, dude. You just stuck it out. But I don't really finish a lot of things, so it's weird. It's weird to have done it, but it's pretty cool. So welcome to 50. Kind of just gonna, reflect a couple of small things that happened, pop culture-wise, that I do on the show. You know me. But yeah, it's been pretty nuts. It's been pretty nuts to have done 50 of these. I definitely feel like I've like learned a lot about this whole thing, and like production's really fun to like figure that stuff out, and like kind of trying to go into other directions with production, and figuring all that shit out and how things go in one way or the other. But it's pretty cool because I just think like I should have listened back to the first one and then like almost like reflected on everything I talked about in the first one, but I didn't do that. So here we are. Actually, you know what? I have this notebook in front of me, and what I talked about on this notebook, or it might be in this notebook, but if not, oh well. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a good time just to kind of sit here, blow my load of thoughts all over you and your ears. I don't see it in here. That's way deeper into the episodes. I guess I didn't use that notebook right away. Yeah, it's been kind of, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to have a place to kind of like flesh out myself and like small things even where like, when I had first saw Black Panther, I was like, that was neat. And then sitting in here and like actually like reflecting on it and like going into it, I'm like, oh, actually, I really like the movie like a lot more than I thought I did. So it's definitely like been a neat thing to just have, you know, I guess kind of just a audio diary type thing, kind of. I don't know. It's hard to, I guess that's what it is, right? I don't know how else you'd word it, but it's kind of, I don't know. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy just having people in, talking about stuff that's interesting, or just hanging out with people that I know. I hope that's interesting to other people. I wouldn't know because they're interesting to me, or I just know them, or, oh, hey, this person's in town, let's catch up, whatever. You know, it's like whatever it is for me. Something I don't want to do. But I guess it's kind of part of it where it's most people I associate with would be into the similar things that I'm into. So it would, if you come for me, you'd kind of like they should reflect that, I guess. So I guess it's theoretically a good idea to have all that. Because I don't know, I've been reflecting on like the idea of the length, because I've been like going on for so long with 3 hours occasionally. Well, I don't push it. I never push any episode to go to any specific length. If an episode's gonna be 30 minutes, it's gonna be 30 minutes. You know, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna drag it out. If there's interesting topics of conversation and things are going places, I try to do that. But when I first started, I definitely think I was like more like driven, like, nope, gotta get it all, gotta do it all. Because like, you know, listen like Joe Rogan or Kevin Smith, I guess, were the two big ones. Kind of funny to some extent, but they're actually pretty succinct. They keep their shit together. I think whatever it is they do. I mean, GOG doesn't really have their like flagship show doesn't really have like a limit. They changed it recently for the better, but kind of just making it a little bit more freeform, not restricting it to a certain amount of like we got to hit only this much per topic. They kind of just like let it flow, which I think is just generally the better thing. And from what I hear from other people who talk to me about this, they like the idea of it just kind of be a little more free flow. Obviously, it's not for everyone, but I don't know. I think it's kind of I think it's better. You get the more raw of someone's thoughts or someone's feelings about something. You know, and like not censoring it too, I think is interesting. Cause it's weird, cause I'm in a position of like, I'm not anyone really. I don't have like a big platform. So if someone came on here and said something crazy, you know, now I'm kind of more at the point where it's like, well, you don't know, or like if a random person listened, they wouldn't know who I was. So if someone came in here and was just like, start going crazy, some racist rant or something. Like, I don't want that to necessarily reflect me. So I'm like, well, I gotta now, like, if someone came in, like, I've been thinking about that stuff lately, where it's like, well, what if I do have someone come in here and they're like, they have a crazy idea that I don't agree with at all. You know, I don't want necessarily, or like, and I don't think is acceptable to propagate. Is that the word I want to say? A lot of, I don't know. You know, where do I sit on that? Because, like, I don't know. And, like, I guess if you don't, I guess it's on me to, like, investigate it further, and not, like, you know, because, like, my name on the show, it's, you know, it reflects me as much as it would reflect the other person, that kind of thing. I don't know, I'm trying more and more as a person to not, like, just, like, shut down an idea, even if I dramatically disagree with it, be like, all right, let's unpack that a little bit, but it's hard, to, like, figure out how that works, because, like, I was just watching a thing today about, like, it was on, like, how, it was a video essay about how Mr. Rogers saved, like, PBS back in, like, I think it was, like, the 60s, 70s, something like that, early in his, like, PBS career. And the concept of, like, they broke it down, his 6-minute speech, they broke it down into various segments of, like, Greek philosophy of the argument, you know, like, pathos. That's the one I can remember off the top of my head. Actually, I think I still have the video open on my computer. But I have it up here? I do. Yeah, the ethos, pathos, and logos. So, like, the different ideas, different ways of talking, like talking with the emotion, talking with logic, and then talking with, like, being personable type of thing. And, like, how those things, you don't attack the directly at the person. You have to, like, kind of come in as, like, an ally as opposed to directly attacking as, like, an enemy. So that's something I struggle with, even in small things. I'm not even talking about, like, big political things or anything like that. Just like the new Pokemon game got announced, and I was having a conversation with my friend. I'm like, this is bullshit. Fuck this. And it's not even, like, a real game. It's a spinoff, but I still don't like. But, like, I guess I'm not like, developing my thought. I'm just like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's basically, if you don't care or pay attention, it's Pokemon Go, but on the Switch, the console version, basically the console version, and they commingle. So if you play Pokemon Go, stuff can be transferred over to this, and I can't imagine vice versa, because Pokemon are nothing more than glorified, like, PNGs in Pokemon Go. They don't do anything. So I guess they have the battling thing, or the gyms thing, but even that's, like, weird. So they don't really do much. So I don't imagine that you want to transfer them back and forth. And it's, like, a very dumbed down version of Pokemon, and, like my argument in the conversation we were having was I barely had I could barely understand half the words when I first played Pokemon Red, but I fucking loved it as a kid. And I just don't think kids are dumb. I think we don't have to have dumb, or anyone. I don't think anyone's dumb. I don't think we have to have dumb media, for the sake of, like, oh, this is going to be easier to get into. Like, if I can barely read and I'm enjoying this, like, everyone's going to enjoy it. And, like, no one's saying you got to, like, beat a thing, you got to be the best at a thing, as long as you're having fun with it. And, like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know where that is. But, like, you know, I'm upset that Game Freak is using any resources at all on this. And, of course, there's some cool stuff in there. Like, there's, like, a drop-in multiplayer feature. But I know Game Freak, they're not going to carry that into any other game. That'll never show up again because they're inept. Unless someone miraculously steps up in that company, that's never going to happen. They got too big too fast. And I was thinking about it today, like, it seems like they just had this one, like, design document of, like, Pokemon Red and Blue, or Red and Green, I guess, in Japan. So, like, they had this one document, and they were, like, riding off of that forever. And then when they got to 3D and things had to change a little bit, they started to crumble a little bit. And the further they got into 3D, the more and more they crumbled. And, like, I don't know, it's, like, really frustrating because I want to see them succeed. I love Pokemon so much, but, you know, but my point is, I wasn't coming at that as a point. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, I can't believe this exists. And he was like, well, you know, it'd be really good for, like, my mom, my sister. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good argument. You know, and, like, you know, if it's someone who was from the outside looking in, be like, I don't understand what this is, you know. And I guess theoretically, I guess that kind of works backwards from my argument of, like, kids aren't dumb, or it's like, kids are malleable, so they're going to learn, or pliable, I think is what I want to say. Doesn't matter. Or malleable works too, I think. I don't know, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying. They're flexible. They adjust. They can learn quickly. They can pick up on stuff. Even when you hand a kid a phone, they figure it out immediately. Or you handed my grandfather the phone, he's going to struggle a little bit. So I guess it kind of works backward. This is almost better for older people who are looking in. Maybe they had a relative that was really into Pokemon, or they just remembered existing and be like, I don't understand what this is. And then they just have a Switch. I don't know why you'd have a Switch, though, so you'd have to be, like, if you don't know that stuff. I can't think of a game that like just a parent would own on the Switch, because it's very much like gamers first. Like if this was like a Wii title, it'd make a little more sense, I guess, in that aspect of like, hey, you bought Wii for Wii Sports, but also try this thing. You've seen your kids talk about this, or your grandkids, or your sibling, your younger sibling, or whatever, talk about this. So look at this thing. But I don't know. Maybe that's just. But I think it's better to look at it that way, where it's like backwards like that. But I struggle on being like, oh my god, this thing, this is a. So I don't know what I do for the show. If someone was like, here's this thing that you just drag, like the, I'm gonna kick myself for it for the for a while, is the argument I had with people on, I forget which episode it was, but about like the talent versus skill thing. It was just getting kind of upset that, and that was too many people. So like I definitely learned from that. Like I don't think I can handle 4. I can handle 2, maybe 3, but 3 total. So 2 people, I guess. Yeah. So, but having 4 people in the room and like everyone going at it at different angles and I think they said at one point, they said like, or one of them said like, you never even tell us what to do about the show. And it's like, I thought it was clear that that was the point. It was just everyone to be hanging out and like get a more natural snapshot of people. But I guess I need, that needs to be communicated and talked about further and stuff like that. So I definitely think I'm learning a lot from this whole thing. It's been a lot of fun to just kind of, because it's interesting, because I go through this for the time codes and all that stuff, so I have to listen back once more and to kind of hear a thought I had or something, or like just to have an idea reiterated to me, agree or disagree. I have to hear it for a second time. It goes, one more time. I got to reprocess something I said, or especially if I do it like this, depending on how long this one is, I might sit down and just edit it in one day, or like edit I say in quotes, but take time codes. I gotta come up with a better term for that. In one day, where it's like I record and now I'm going to go through it. But it's almost better for me to go, not even as like for the show, but as a person, to go through like a couple days later and be like, oh, look at me. Okay, this is what I was saying here. Is what I was saying here even makes sense? Like I kind of got rambling here, or like I stumbled over my words. So it's been interesting to kind of literally have to like be faced with what you just said or what someone else said. Being like, oh, interesting. Okay, so that was said there. Like, oh, this person said this, or I said this is someone's last name here, or they, whatever. So I didn't even catch that when I first did it. So let me take that out, because I don't know how they feel about stuff like that. That kind of stuff. Even that's kind of weird too. I was thinking about that today. Like, I wouldn't be, obviously I don't care that my last name is out there. It's on my Twitter and everything like that. But I remember being, like my very first computer class, getting like a little handout, and they were like, never have your name and your username or your password. And I have like 2 email addresses with my full name in it, or not my full name, but some aspect of my name identifying who I was. Because I was talking to someone. I was noticing something on Tinder a lot. I see a lot of girls be like, they're very adamant about not like they're not going to just sleep with you. That makes sense. Why would obviously they probably get that shit all the time. But then they also like leave a thing of social media. Like, oh, follow me on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. I just find, Snapchat, I know you have to like, you have to approve incoming messages, so that makes sense, I guess, to share that one. But, like the one girl I had noticed, like she was like, obviously I'm not gonna have sex with you or whatever. But then she left her Snapchat, but it had so many elements of her name in there where I'm like, this seems like something like if someone really wants you, they could figure this out. It was like, I forget what it was. It was like her name is as displayed in, Tinder, but then also like a word that didn't make sense. So it was like, okay, this is probably like the part of your last name or maybe a middle name. Because I know there's a lot of girls too, they'll do on social media, they'll have their middle name be listed as their last name. So I've always been curious why they do that. I've never actually talked to anyone who's ever done that. Because I noticed it more like at a moment, like I'm just going through, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they changed their last name, weird, to like just their middle name or something or whatever it is. That must just be to not be, I'm not sure if that's for employers. Because it might make sense. If you're just like, I'm just going to post whatever I want, I don't want to be bothered. Because that would make it a little bit harder for you to be found unless you knew. So maybe that's why that is. I've never asked anyone. I've noticed a few times. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but like, yeah, some of these girls, like they have this stuff on there. And it's like, oh, well. Or like you have a number in your thing too. It's like, oh, that's probably the year of your birth. And like, I don't know. It seems like weird where it's like, we're just so open to just like post whatever we want. Like, your name can just be part of your username in a weird way. Because I definitely remember like being like terrified. Like, oh no. I can't. That's why I had Iberneck for so long. I always had some stupid, moniker forever. And then that one was just the one that stuck. It was just easier. There was no way anyone was ever going to take that, ever. So that was super convenient. There's actually a character in Death Note who has a similar name, like Iber, but I think it's with an A. I think it's like AIB or something. I don't remember how it's spelled, but it's not exactly spelled the same way I spell it, which I guess is why a lot of people say it Eber. So, what are you going to do? I get that mixed up a lot. I don't even know why. Maybe I'm just pronouncing it wrong, but that's the way I've always done it. So, although some people pick it up right away. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how English works. I fuck up a lot of stuff. Spelling's bad. Grammar's hard. It's tough. I don't know. Which is why this is so much easier, because like things go in my head so much clearer, and it's just easier to like talk it out as opposed to like write it out. So I guess that's kind of why this is so much. I don't want to say easier, but natural, I guess, is a good word for that. We're just like, this is kind of how things are gonna flow. This is like an easy way to like express an idea without, I don't know, but it seems so like, I don't want to say like low key, but like, what's a good word for it? Not like easy. I mean, it's like not the most challenging thing in the world, but it's not like if I saw someone like express themselves with a painting, I'd be like, wow, that guy and or gal there's something going on there. They're trying to express it. I guess it's abstract or can be abstract. Whereas this is so cut and dry, and like most people assume they can just do it, you know? But I mean, honestly though, every once in a while I have someone on, and like, I guess the word would be coaching. They need like a little bit of coaching into like how to get comfortable on a microphone, how to hear, because I give them their headphones so they can hear themselves back, so they know how far away from the mic they are. And so like being able to hear yourself back and be like, oh shit, okay, this is weird, I'm hearing myself in my head. Where for me, I always hear myself when I'm wearing these headphones, and because I use this mic setup for like playing games online and stuff, so I always am hearing myself. And I kind of like it. I kind of like being able to hear myself and hear when my chair creaks or something drops or whatever. I can hear like, but it's weird though, because I can't hear anything with the actual headphones. So I turn the mic off, I wouldn't be able to hear like, anything. Like if I was playing a game, just had the mic off, I could turn the volume all the way down, I wouldn't be able to hear anything because the game volume would be so loud in these headphones. But with the mic, it actually kind of makes it so it's like more of like an open headset. It's kind of interesting. It's a weird like little thing. So I can hear people like come in the room and stuff. I'm like, what's going on? Okay, all right. Because I can hear it being picked up. But yeah, so it's not like the easiest thing in the world, I guess. Because, I don't know. And like, I guess the reason it's kind of, I don't know, I want to say like an easier thing for me to pick up so quick. Like I'm not as uncomfortable on mic or anything. It's because I just kind of talk to myself anyway. Like in the car and shit. Like I like to break down ideas in the car and like think about stuff. And it's just nicer to have it recorded. So it's not like this is a new thing for me. Just to kind of ramble on like a thought train. Just, I put a microphone in front of it. Just kind of like a thing. It's kind of like my logic behind it, which I still haven't even pulled the trigger on, just because I don't have a schedule. And I guess this doesn't have a schedule, so I should just do it anyway. But streaming, of like, you're going to do it anyway, might as well record it, because you never know, who could find this interesting or anything. But I get kind of so angry at games. That's the one thing I don't feel like I reflect a lot on this. And really, it's only been that one moment with that debate about if talent exists, that like I get very angry like very quickly. It doesn't really come out on here because there's no real place for it. Like, it's not like I'm not looking to fight people, and like if I know me, I'm gonna get angry quickly. I'm not gonna set myself up to get angry. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where it's like, oh, this is now I know the result that's going to happen. Like, like sometimes I'll just open Twitter and I see like 3 or 4 things about like something that's going on or something like, and it's usually something dumb. It's usually some game thing or something that like some stupid thing with the Overwatch League or something happened. Like, I'm not talking like, here's this thing that was super serious. I'm like, whatever. It's just like something dumb, and like I read, I'm like, oh my god, I can't. I don't like being told what I already know several times in a row. It's kind of like that guy from Austin Powers who can't stand hearing the same question 3 times. I can't stand like being told something that I agree with multiple times. Like, if I hear it the first few times, I'm like, yeah, totally. But if you're going to beat me over the head with it, I'm like, all right, I fucking get it. Stop preaching to the choir. Like, that kind of logic, it for some reason, that, like, really irks me to hear that just the same thing over and over again. Like, so, like, but I guess, like, everyone feels like the need to, like, speak their mind. I'm kind of doing it in a weird way myself. But, like, because I'm going to be at an elevated level, and then I'm going to see something that really fucking matters or something, I'm going to, then I could really lose it, or really get crazy or something, get super mad. I just hate that. I hate that part of me, and I'm trying to figure out how to not be super mad all the time. Which this has been a good way to do that. Kind of like slow down. I have to hear myself once while recording it. I have to hear it when I'm back while I'm recording it, and I can kind of really be like, all right, let's try to break this idea down and not go crazy. And it's kind of nicer because, like, even with being able to hear yourself back, you have to go slower a little bit. Just to make sure that, and like that's the nice thing about the headphones. It's like I can't, like if I'm in the car, I bet if you just put a microphone in the car while I'm driving around, and I just kind of started thinking about something, and I start talking a lot, there's probably a lot of, I'm tripping over my words, I'm going over a lot of this, I'm like circle talking, I'm just trying to like, it's weird. Like I kind of do it here a little bit, but it's probably a lot worse, because I can't immediately hear it back. So, I bet this helps slow me down, just because I remember a few times I had done this early on. I wouldn't wear headphones or whatever, and you could hear like a lot of I would when I would listen back, I'd hear it, like I would stutter over a word a lot, or I would talk so fast I would just drop a word in a sentence, because like in my head, especially when it's like a solo one like this, I know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. And like I said, like I do a lot of just talking to myself to like break down an idea or something. So I can get ahead of myself. I'm having like two sentences could be going at once, where it's like I'm thinking of this one and I know where that one's going, so let's jump over to here. And like it's funny too. I feel like I developed this like weird habit, which I guess most people think it's like crazy, and that's fine. It just makes it easier for me. Like I've played games with people in the room, and like they think it's weird that I'll explain my movements to myself, so I don't forget them, because I need to hear it out loud once to be able to like, okay. But then there's times where I just sit quietly in a room forever. Like when I was playing Ico, I would all of a sudden, like I would remember like I was just playing, and I would just go, oh, when I solve a puzzle, and I would like be shocked by the immediate noise from a human voice, because it just had been like 20 minutes of me trying to figure out a puzzle. Because I'm bad at puzzles. So there's really just one in that game that was really tricky, because I just didn't like the fixed camera angles, made it super weird. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I kind of have to like I've just kind of always like to like reiterate a thing for myself, or like I'll just be like I'm gonna go do this to this to this, so like I don't forget. Like I'll like verbalize a checklist in my head out loud, just so I can then reprocess it in my head. But I definitely think I started part of that because when I was really little, I saw the Truman Show, and I was like, well, if I'm on a TV show, I should probably narrate some things occasionally just so it makes sense. I remember doing that with like toys. I would like narrate little toy conversations, and then it just became like a good way to remember things. And like because sometimes if like I'm sitting there and thinking a lot, and like the other thing I like about it too a lot, and like this specifically too as well, is you can't get lost in thought. Like one of my least favorite things in my day-to-day is if I drive to work and I forget the drive. Or I forget the actual act of like being on the road, seeing cars. Like I autopilot driving, and I just start thinking about something, and I get lost in the thought. I dislike that, because it feels like I lost a part of my actual life, like my actual physical clock there, whatever. My time on this planet has faded a bit, and that kind of drives me a little crazy. I'm like, oh shit, I can't, like, who the fuck knows how long I got this for? We got to keep running with it. So I don't like losing that. Being able to just verbalize things out loud, I think like anchors me to like the time. And then I don't get like, I don't fade out in a weird way where I'm like I try to be conscious all the time. And I think I've always kind of had that mentality since a kid. 'Cause I was just talking to Ben about like, just really old childhood memories, like being able to break down like a clock in your head of like, I was really into this thing and really into this thing. Nothing crazy, not like major life events, just like interests, changing of interests. And Ben was like, I can't remember the show I was in a couple months ago, or a couple years ago. I can't remember a fucking thing about it. But like for me, I remember being a little kid Even if I was in a car, I would just sit there and I'd think, and I would like roll through. Like I had like a set number. It was weird. Like there's a couple, like certain things will trigger it, but I have like maybe a pack, like a, I guess like a little. I use the example of like a Rolodex when I was talking to him but that's like such an old dated reference. I've never even seen one in real life. I don't even know why I said that, but it's like a Rolodex of or memories, and I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna keep these, and so like, I wish I could remember the example. But this just happened recently where I saw something or I found a toy somewhere in the attic or something. I did something from my youth and I saw it and I was like, oh my God. And then like 4 other memories that have nothing to do with it pop back because I used to do that. I used to like weirdly catalog like memories. Because I was just very into like, I'm not going to forget this. And of course you forget things, but I like paired things together. Or like, for example, there are like places in games, and it happens primarily with Pokemon games just because they were on the go, so I would be playing them in weird spots, so I have like weird memories associated with these games. Like I can remember where I caught Mewtwo for the first time because it was like I was like not at home, I was like walking somewhere, I was going to like my mom's gynecologist or something. We were doing something abnormal, and so like I was like outside the building, and like I remember catching him there or something. I remember being in this, but like even stuff that's mundane, like there's a spot of like in Johto in Gold and Silver that when I run through, I remember my parents watching what I thought was a scary program of some murder show, and I was like, oh boy, it's so spooky. But I was like behind the couch, like I wasn't watching it, but running through this, like it's a very empty area. It's between the 8th gym town and like the starting town, that little path there. There's a spot in there, like a little like square open area that I can remember vividly going through and them talking about this woman being murdered, and I was like really creeped out, but I wasn't paying attention to the TV, but I had overheard this thing, so like I lined them up, so like they have nothing to do with each other, and like it's weird how they all connect. Or like a weird movie trailer that I saw with this one movie or whatever, stuff like that, where it's like, but it pairs with other things and it's weird. But for this it's nice because but this is weird because it's like it's like a recorded version of it, you know. Here is a bunch of just hours and hours and hours of just it being cataloged of just ideas and thoughts, and I don't know how much of it's going to be like, I don't know if I have how many parallel memories that have to go with it, but it's kind of, it's kind of interesting having it all here in front of me, 50 in a row. And yeah, I find it so strange that I was able to stick it out for 50. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. I think it's so much easier because it's just me. And that's the thing I kind of want to break through. The next step is I want to start working with other people. Like I think it'd be a lot of fun to have another show or do another project of some kind. That's kind of what I'm hoping this film thing kind of takes off. And I can start doing a little bit more movie stuff. I guess movies, but like shorts and skits and stuff. Because I want to have to work with other people. I don't like. It's nice because I can this just gets done. Or if I just sit down, I'm like, this is going to happen. It just happens. Like. This episode doesn't exist unless I sit here and get on mic and I talk. It doesn't happen. Like I was just playing a game of Counter-Strike. I could jump over to another game. I could play another. It doesn't matter. Like there's nothing holding me here except for me literally sitting here and doing it. So it's so much easier. And like, it's been like rewired in my brain. It's just a thing I do. Because that was the biggest hurdle I had as a child of like things like this, creative endeavors and stuff like that. Not allowing myself to do them because I was like, I just gave myself weird excuses, or I'd be like, oh, that's not a me thing. That's not something I do. I don't know why. I was very defeatist as a child. I don't know what that was. Like I remember one of my earliest like conceptual thoughts was like, I'll never be the best at anything, so why try? I was like 3 when I had this thought. I don't know what the fuck that came from. And that kind of held me back for a long time. Now I see it more as like, well, yeah, duh. You're never going to be unless you try for it. Everyone starts at 0. Like there's, it's that kind of, it's like having to rework it. And honestly, learning how to draw helped a fuck ton. So I recommend anyone take a drawing class and then continue a little bit past maybe that drawing. Like really kind of like try it and just watch yourself kind of slowly grow. But like that, what once seemed impossible will stop being impossible, but you have a physical record of it, like right in front of you. If you have like a sketchbook, like just, and like it helps to have a person sitting there and be like, make sure you do this, make sure you do this, do this. Like one of the big hurdles I had to overcome was literally pencil type, like the thickness of the lead. Like when I was drawing, my teacher would be like, you can't, like, what are we doing here? This is not working. You know, there's something here. It's too light. This is this and that. And he's like, try these. And he gave me like, that looks so much better. All right, you're like, so something small as that, you might not even think about when you're working on your own. So I would, if you have the opportunity granted to you, definitely pursue someone. And like, I wish I kind of stuck it out a little bit more, but this kind of started being a little bit more of a focus. And just other things like this, trying to learn how to do stuff like this and just learn, editing, stuff like that. I started falling into different categories of stuff, but he was really hard on me, and I really fucking kind of like that. I think as a child I didn't. I was really like, no, everything's great. I don't know why, but I've somehow been able to rework my brain to be like, no, you want to be told you suck, and it kind of helps. Kind of the humility of it, just being like, no, this isn't great, and like, there are parts of this show where I'm like, well, that wasn't great. Like so like, you just kind of have to figure out how to adjust, to grow and change from that kind of stuff. And even sometimes I think it's kind of interesting to understand, like, well, that sucked. Or like another thing too, I've been trying to do, break past. And this kind of helped too, this show, because I bet I haven't listened to the first episode. I kind of am regretting not having done that since sitting down with this. Now I'm thinking about it, but I'd like to have heard like the audio quality. I bet it's bad. I bet it's not good. And it's because I didn't let that bother me, because I always have been this person of like, no, it's got to be perfect out of moment one, and get to the next step. And it just doesn't really work out 99% of the time. That's never going to happen. Unless like $1 gajillion randomly shows up, you can get the best equipment. Like, I mean, one of the major groups that kind of inspired me to do this is Kind of Funny. And I was recently looking through some of their equipment they have. They have like $15,000 cameras. Like crazy money being spent on stuff, but they had been going on for like 3 years, and came with like massive names. Like Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty are huge fucking names, or were at the time. I guess Colin is now, but they've separated since. A lot of drama. It makes me sad. I don't like when mom and dad fight. But they were big IGN names, big editors for IGN. They went off to their own thing and brought Nick and Tim with them. Like, they had a base to begin with, so obviously, and successful careers before that. Like. So, like, obviously, they're going to start out a little bit higher than a doofus in his bedroom. They started an extra bedroom, and they have the cute little backstory as well. But they still have that leg up where they started off with a Patreon where people were actually going to, pay for it. Like, I feel weird because I don't really feel like I'm even consistent on this to put one out, but who knows? So, it's stuff like that where it's just like, oh, okay, boom, here's the next step and stuff like that. And then, like, recently, too, the two big ones that recently I've found that's, like, really inspired me is Jenny Nicholson on YouTube. I fucking love her. She's super funny, but it's just a girl sitting on her bed talking at a camera. Like, she doesn't even do thumbnails. Just a screenshot of the thing. She's so low key with it, but it's the raw quality of her just being entertaining that pushes it past. It's just this girl just, and I think obviously he's not in the highest graces, but Max Landis had talked about her a little bit on his Instagram. It was weird too. I was watching a bunch of her videos, went over to Max Landis's Instagram, and he was filming something, and I heard a laugh. I'm like, that sounds a lot like Jenny. I was literally just watching her video, and then like one of the next pictures on his story was her, and I was like, oh, that's weird. They're friends. This is so strange. Like how this like played out. And then a couple weeks later, he had talked about like just how like it's her, like the way her demeanor is upon doing things. It makes her so compelling. And like I don't even agree with a lot, like especially on like Star Wars. Like we don't agree on like anything. Like she loves like The Last Jedi. She didn't like Rogue One, which I don't either. So I guess that works out. From what I can read on her Twitter, despises Solo, which I'll get to in a moment. So like we don't totally agree on a lot of stuff, which is totally fine. I kind of just enjoy hearing this other opinion from a person I just genuinely like. And then she's super low key, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's just the quality of the person and what they're talking about and how funny they are, or entertaining, or compelling that they are. Like that's the cool thing. That's like oh shit, look at this. Like this is just a person doing a thing. And the other thing I've been obsessed with lately is Nirvana, the band, the show. Which if you're not watching it, what the fuck is wrong with you? You goddamn monster. Step it up. I was gonna say peasant, but I'd said peasant 3 times in that Counter-Strike game. My friend was like, why do you keep saying this? So I'm learning. We're adjusting. We're growing. Yeah, it's such a fucking good show. And it's like, but like there was like this web show they did. It's a very similar thing. They're hilarious. They can kind of get away with a lot of stuff. There's like one point they're censored in the show, but it plays to a good comedy bit, and it's like really good. And it's like, but like it's really low key production. Like obviously they have pretty expensive cameras and pretty decent sound equipment, but if you go and watch some of the web show shit, it's not that fancy, it's just normal shit, it's whatever. So saying stuff like that where it's just like, oh, okay, all right. So it doesn't even have to be the absolute greatest. It really is the content first, the thing first that you care about. And like that's the cool thing about Jenny is like she spends so many videos just talking about like theme park attractions. She's a huge like theme park nerd. My Little Pony, which I guess like I say that and you're like, oh yeah, people like that. But like she's like old school. So like she'll talk about like old fucking, I don't know the generation numbers, but like the older ponies and stuff. Like she like the fucking old toys and she used to like go to like pony collecting conventions before Friendship is Magic came out. I feel like she had another like kind of niche interest. I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, like she'll have just like her interests and she can talk about that. And I don't know anything about half these things. I'm like, this is kind of fascinating still. So it really is just, the person, and like that's kind of another thing too, I guess part of this persuasion video I was watching of like and like it sounds so gross, persuasion, but like it's more of just like how to properly convey an idea to another human being is kind of the idea of it. And like how to because the one thing he was talking about is the Greek philosophers, they had fighting and they had argument, and fighting was to win and then argument is to win over, and that's kind of like the two concepts of the idea. And most people, especially on the internet and like in your day-to-day Facebook, whatever like that, you're looking to fight and just yell at someone else. But with the argument, you're looking to win over by trying to empathize with where someone's coming from, understand their points, state your facts of your argument, listen to theirs, maybe take something they just said, try to tweak it in a way that you can understand where it's coming from, ask a question based on it, really kind of like a back and forth as opposed to just fuck you, this is right all the time, and then them doing the exact same thing back to you. So that kind of flow is very interesting, and I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. Cause like that's the kind of stuff like every once in a while, like it's something comes up and I remember I'm like, oh yeah, psych was really cool. Like psych was a cool degree to have. There's a lot of cool shit in it. Like, what was I just learning about today? It was On Your Mom's House, which is a great podcast. Everyone should listen to it. It's kind of nasty, but like that's fun of it. Tom Segura and Christina P, the comedians, they're pretty funny. They're very funny people, and like they just have a very fun show. Fuck, what were they talking about? They had Dr. Drew on. He was talking about something today, and I can't remember. I was like, oh, this is a very fascinating thing. It's something to do with like evolutionary psychology, and I was like, oh, interesting. It's like why? Fuck, I can't remember what it was. I feel like it had something to do with. Fuck, I don't remember. I had to do something with gender, I think, and like why men do something. And I was like, oh, that's a very interesting point, and that's really cool. And it sounds so gross now, like because of where everything is nowadays with like various gender, I guess fighting, and to go to that term or that concept. Some people sitting over here going, no, this and that, and now we're going, no, this and that. It's like, okay, hang on, whoa, okay. But I don't know, I think evolutionary psychology is kind of an interesting thing because it's like trying to understand the evolution of someone and where it's all coming from, and just like why does someone, and like even just on a micro scale of like you as a person, like your evolution of why you are who you are now, looking back and through that kind of stuff, and like what is it about, like what did you experience that led you to have this perspective over this perspective, and how does it affect you where you are now, and that kind of, how is where you are now where you are from, and then how's that different from where you were, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of interesting. It's probably more interesting than the greater scale, because that's so hard, it's so vague to be like, well, all of X is like this because of Y. And it's like that's so challenging to like really nail down, because even if you have one person who's not, they're like, hey, I'm not that. You're like, all right, I get it. This is too vague. My bad. So you gotta kind of like, it's more interesting, I think, on a micro level, where you're just like, well, why do you think this? You grew up here, so you think this, and these are the people you met, and this is why you think this way, or this is the media you consumed that affected this. Like there's a test I had taken. I'm not on how legit. It was online. What are you gonna do? About just like your pattern of speech, and then where so it's gonna throw up a bunch of pictures of stuff and go, what is this? And here's common terms for it. Like one of them would be like a bottle of Coke. What do you call it? Soda, pop, Coke, and there was a fourth one, I think. What is this? There's a picture of a shoe. What is it? A tennis shoe, a sneaker, a shoe, whatever, different things like that. And depending on what you answered, it would try to guess where you're located. And like my parents did it, and they landed, smack dab in central New York, where we're from. That's where that's where they grew up. That's where they're from. My brothers and I all landed like bits in California, bits in Florida, bits in New York, and it's because we're on, it's scattered all over the place. Like there was no real like. I remember for mine, it was like a decent chunk of like California was pretty heavy, and then New York City, New York area. But it was pretty much a spatter of everywhere. There was just like two like major like highlights. I forget which spot of California. I want to say like San Francisco, but I could be wrong. That's because we grew up on the internet, and so words for things that we're gonna have are just gonna be different because it's such a we're just exposed to more people and more ways of talking and more like that. So it's interesting how like just because of the internet existing, my brothers and I have evolved in a different direction linguistically than our parents have. Stuff like that. I think that's kind of interesting. But this show, that was what I was talking about. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know. I've just been really enjoying kind of doing this, and like I don't have a place where I could just ramble about all of this kind of stuff, and and like maybe I should do more like this. I don't know. I feel better just like talking about it right now. So maybe I should do more of this. I don't know. Not like super serious, but like here's this weird little thing I found on the internet. Let me talk about it. Like maybe honestly I could do that for those bonus episodes. I tried to start doing in the beginning, and I was like, nah, I might as well just, if it's long, put it out, because there's never like a limit, or it's like if it crosses over this threshold, it becomes an episode. So maybe I should do that. If I just like, oh, this is a cool thing I found on YouTube. Let me talk about it. I don't know. Could be interesting. Yeah, it's been a good time. I've been enjoying it. I feel just good. Just kind of trying to break down a small concept. And like social concepts are interesting to me, just because I was like really into psych as in college and stuff. And I just have kind of dialed back from it because I'm not actively using it. And so like trying to figure out, what is, or, remembering aspects of it and like, oh yeah, that was cool. And like, how does that play into this? And what was that concept? And like trying to figure it out and look it up again. And be like, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this. I hope everyone else at least gets something out of it. I don't know. Because it's weird. It's a weird thing. Like, not a lot of people do this. I remember when I started talking, people would be like, oh yeah, I like podcasts. I had a kid literally laugh at me for liking them. But that kid's a massive cunt, so what are you going to do? That kid and me have had so mhave problems forever. I don't even know why we talk. Well, not frequently, but every once in a while when we run into each other, every time I leave, I'm like, why did I stop? Should have just pretended I didn't see him. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. It's been a good time. I don't know. It is just an odd thing. It's an odd thing to just like record thoughts and put them out there, as opposed to and maybe I should start doing like a video aspect of it. I have a camera now, so I could do that. I could implement that. I should have just put it up and talked, but I don't talk at it. That's the weird thing about it, is I don't talk like towards anything. I just kind of look around the room. I've been staring at this the corner of my monitor for the last 10 minutes, not really thinking. Now I focus my eyes and I'm like, oh yeah, why am I looking at that? That's like a weird thing to be staring at. Just this black corner of a monitor, weird. So I don't know how I would necessarily do it. I'd have to something keep drawing my eye to the lens, because I just don't think I'd look at it that often. I do definitely trail off a lot. Once I start really getting into a thought, it just glaze in words. There's nothing on where the eyes are done. They don't need to be used anymore. Just the mouth. So it's weird to try to balance those two. I guess that could be another challenge to this whole thing if I had to get a camera and have something to talk outward, towards, having a way to break that down and be like, nope, you gotta focus on this and do the two together. Because I had done smaller little video stuff a couple months ago. It was just me and a camera or whatever, and I find myself really you see my eyes darting over the place and fading off, and it's fine, but those things are far more comedic. So the fact they were doing that was oh wait, no, you could use this for something, but you can't use your eyes now as a point of comedy because they're not being used you're not focusing them in a place. So if you wanted to use them to accent a punchline or something, you can't, because you're not using them. So they're just off somewhere where it doesn't make any sense, which is weird. It also looks weird if you're not looking towards the person there. that like the video was referring to or whatever. If the video is to someone, which a lot of YouTube videos at the viewer, the person is talking to the viewer. So I guess that's part of it too. But I guess that's all I really want to talk about with the show. I kind of rambled about a lot of stuff, but I think the long and short is show is good. I enjoy doing it, and expect more. Expect more out of me. Hopefully we refine this to a place where it means something a little bit consistent and makes a little more sense. Maybe that's not. Maybe I shouldn't ever. I don't know. So that's the balance. This is really the balance, man. It's like, do you want to have it a little bit more structured, where it's a lot easier for someone to even just recommend it and like really understand what's going on when they come in for the first time, or have it kind of just be that shotgun blast of who the fuck knows? Could be anything. You have no idea. It could be one thing, could be other. Who knows? This could be crazy. We about to get nuts. I don't know. Could be anything. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I think about it a lot. Comes up a lot. If I'm just doing bullshit at work, which is 99% of the time, I do kind of like think, well, and that's why I gotta get like a more interesting job. I gotta something more demanding, because I don't feel like I solve a lot of problems when I'm just like staring off into space. Like, let me think about this other thing that I can't really focus 100% on, so I'm not gonna get a good answer. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll just stop with that part. I got a couple of small things. I guess some of them are kind of relevant to what I was just talking about. One being Solo. I saw Solo, and I loved it. And like, I've always like loved Han Solo. Like, I never really was like I was never like a Luke Skywalker person. We didn't own Luke Skywalker toys. We had like a couple, but they were like weird ones, like Luke Skywalker in the snowspeeder, because I wanted the snowspeeder, not Luke. Like, it was weird. Like, I never owned a toy of him. I had like 4 Han Solos though, because I love the guy. I don't know. I find that, but like, I'm very curious about what is it about like archetypes that appeal to a person. Like, there are people who are like, I just like sword and board, the basic knight, whatever, like the very like the soldier basically, And then there are people like me who was like, I love the rogue, the thief, the pirate, and like, it reflects a lot in my life. Like, what fucking game did I lose my fucking mind about when I first started doing this? Persona 5. What's the theme about that? Thieves. What manga do I talk about fucking every week when I get the chance? One Piece. What's that? Pirates. Like, it's very strange, like, how it, and not until like I saw Solo, and I kind of reflected off of like about Jenny Nicholson talking about it, and she was like, I fucking hated it, and I was like, that's weird. And I was like, wait a minute, I just love this fucking character type so hard. Like, I think this is just something I'm like naturally inclined to enjoy, and I don't know why. It's such a weird thing to like, do people have that? Is it like a trained thing? Is that just something you're just going to like, there's this type of thing, this like character type that you're just going to be drawn to naturally? Like, there are people who are like, I just like the guy with the big sword. I like the guy who shoots the gun or shoots the bow or whatever, like the ranged thing. Magic is dope. I just like the thing with special superpowers. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. But like, I remember it not really even being conceptualized in my head until like, I forget what Mike did. He sent me like a game, or he maybe just texted me it, but it was like it was in text, and it was about like, I just always play the sneaky guy or something. Or maybe we were talking about something else. I forget what it was like. You just always play the sneaking guy. You always play the guy with the agile one. So he had some kind of comment that was reflective of the rogue archetype. I was like, oh, weird. Yeah, I guess you're right. And then I recently rethought about it, because I was like, I was watching Solo, a movie of which I know how it's going to end. I'm fully aware. We know who Han Solo is and who Lando is. Like, L3 is not in the movies. Probably going to be a goner, spoilers for Solo. I can kind of piece together general concepts of Han Solo, like what's going to happen. And there's like this huge climax spot. Towards the end, it's like the big climax of the end. I mean, like, not the big action scene, the big spectacle. That's a better word for it. And I was on the edge of my fucking seat. I was like, I don't know what's gonna fucking happen. Are they going to escape? And then I caught myself like literally sitting up on the edge of my seat. I was like, what is going on? My toes are curled. I'm so excited. I can't get enough of this. I don't know why. I just like guys flying ships or sailing boats and fucking shooting stuff. I fucking, like, my favorite Zelda is Wind Waker, because he's in a boat, and boats are dope. Video game boats are dope. I don't know, it's a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. And, like, I sometimes try to fight it. I sometimes try to fight, like, that character type. the double daggers or the one with the bow or whatever. I try to fight it sometimes. And sometimes it works. Sometimes I enjoy myself. But most of the time, no. Most of the time, like, this isn't fun. Like, I'm playing the new God of War. And I just had played all 3 of the originals. And 2's bad. 1's pretty decent. 3's actually, like, I was playing 3 and I was like, this is alright. And then I finished it and I was like, that was really cool. There's a lot of cool spectacle in that game. Don't get me wrong, Kratos is horrible. I hate that character. They keep trying to make him, or they were trying, I guess, because this is a new, we're on a new thing now, but back in the first 3 games, they tried to make him sympathetic, but he's very much like, he's a Greek character, like a story where it's like the gods are fucking over this mortal. And maybe they have a tie to the gods, like they've god blood because Zeus fucked something and they're born that way, whatever, it's kind of the big deal with Kratos. He's Zeus' son, whatever. That's a big thing. That happens a lot in Greek myth, like here's a character, a mortal, presumably things to be mortal, gets fucked over by the gods, you tied in somehow to a god relationship-wise, like a family. But then he reacts to this Greek myth with such a Western American sensibility of like, nah, fuck you, I'm blowing this shit up. And like the 3rd game, Kratos is literally just tearing down Olympus from Hades to the top of the mountain, just shredding everything in existence. There is nothing left. You spend before the first like opening battle is over, you've blown fucking Poseidon's head off, or you crush it, I guess. But like, it's before you even really begin the journey, before you even really finish what was kind of the end of God of War 2. He's fucking murdered Poseidon. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. And you're just blowing everything up since. You just destroy everything. And weirdly enough, the one scene I had heard a lot of people been like, oh, Jesus, was the Helios fight. You, like, tear his head off and, like, it shows all the skin ripping and stuff. But, like, it's so low res at this point, it looks terrible. But the fucking Kronos fight, where you tear his fucking fingernail off, I was like, this is disgusting. Why is this in a video game? This is so gross. Who thought this was okay? And you can see the roots. Oh, it's fucking so gross. There's a lot of gross kills in 3. But then we get to 4, the new one, and it's so slow. Like, even if, like, I don't like Kratos. I don't think he's interesting. And I think it's a little, the 3 got a little crazy with the violence, but like, it was kind of also them being like, let's flex on kids at the PS3 right now. So I kind of get where they were going. Like, I get the time. I was alive. I understand what's happening. I regret not having a PS3 and literally seeing that for the first time. I would have shit myself. That opening scene is fucking still gorgeous. But like, it was still fun to play, like it was fun to do the shit. It was fun to just throw the blades of exile on this one, but like throw them around, just do that. And then you had the cool other combos with the other weapons and like working on it. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of cool shit to happen, that could happen. There was a lot of cool stuff that was going on there. And like really like combining a lot of the stuff together and doing all that stuff. And it was a good time. I enjoyed myself a lot. And now I'm getting to this 4th one. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And like, it's a nice game. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful, very pretty. And weirdly enough, actually, the Kratos being a father thing really foreshadowed in the 3rd one. There are so many characters with a parent-child relationship. Like the Forge guy in Pandora, Kratos and Zeus, Hera and Hercules has a thing going on for a bit where like Hera shows up and like, go fucking kill my son, go kill Zeus's son, whatever. I know that there's half brother or half son. I forget what she says. She says some kind of comment, but like, Hera is Hercules' mother and Zeus is there, so you guys have like your brothers or whatever. And it was, I don't know, there's like a lot of it and it like plays in a lot. And like, obviously Kratos as a whole regretting killing his own daughter and all this stuff. So it's weird how it like, there was so many, every once in a while, someone would be like, sons should not treat their fathers like this, or you're a horrible son. Like, they were like, it kept coming up. Obviously, because the last boss is Zeus, but who is Kratos' father, so he's, that's going to come up a decent chunk just in that dynamic alone, but it came up enough. I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, they were trying to do what they're doing in this new one since at least 3. They were really trying to find this middle ground, but obviously, when God of War 3 came out, it was a very different time with like how things should be done, blowing shit up, and spectacle being, And the new one's nice. There's a lot of times where the kid boy, I can't remember his name, Atreus? I think that's how you pronounce it. He like does something and Kratos doesn't know how to react. He's like proud of him and he wants to like pat him on the back or something. You can see because it's always from Kratos' back perspective and like it's weird. There's a moment where like there's like shaky cam, so I guess the cameraman's like kind of real. It's really strange. But then it'll also fly with him. I don't get it. That was like a weird directorial choice. I'm like, I don't know if you want this thing to be some omnipotent thing or do you want it to be a person? I don't know. But like, because it's always behind him, so you can kind of see like Kratos like reach up and then not, and like reach up and then not, and it's like, oh man, he really wants to say something here, but he has no idea to handle this. And then the idea that the rage that Kratos feels is like this thing that he has, like that now his son has, and like the idea. Oh, that was the other idea. That was the other thing I saw that I thought was really cool. From the third one, you know, Zeus tried to do, or Kronos thought Zeus was going to kill him. And so Zeus, like, but that ended up happening, you know, like, and then Zeus was afraid of Kratos Kronos was afraid of Zeus because Zeus is going to kill his father. And then Zeus was afraid of Kratos, who's going to kill him. So, like, they had, like, this, like, son kills father relationship in this family. And, like, I'm curious to see if that plays into this at all. Of, like, and I think that's kind of where this, like, rage thing they keep going on, where, like, Kratos is like, fucking chill your rage, bro. Fucking cool as shit. Because, like, none of this family has ever been able to contain that, and then like obviously that relative is dead, so trying to like keep that balance of like, whoa, gotta cool it down, man, cool it down. And they Chris been like, you can use this as a weapon, and it was like, there's a lot of cool ideas, but fuck is the game slow. Oh my god. And like, it was a bad idea to finish 3 and then pop the disc in for 4 and be like, Jesus Christ, I am so bored, because there's just so little happening. There's just so little. They're just like walking through the woods having a conversation, and it was a very nice conversation. And the combat system kind of blows. It's kind of dog shit. It's not good. It's like weird. They changed it in a weird way. I'm not having too much fun. Yeah, it's weird. I can't really blame it 100% because at least the first 2 God of Wars, fucking sucked until you started getting like upgrades and abilities and stuff. Like, oh, okay, now I'm seeing those ties together. This is way better. So theoretically, this will be better once I get shit. But like as it stands, not particularly the greatest thing. It's kind of really slow and really boring. So we'll see. The punching thing is a really cool addition to like his kit. And you have like this really cool battle with some god. I forget who it is. And it's like a really cool and you don't have to do it as a fist fight, but like I did because it was like a lot of fun because he was punching you. So like have this like back and forth with this god, and like that fight at spectacle where things are getting blown up, people are getting thrown through things, and like things are exploding. It's like a superhero battle. It was very, very well done. It was very, very cool. It felt very cool to do. And there's like parts of it where like they trigger their godhood, where like both of them like seal their wounds because they're like, all right, fuck this guy, we gotta fucking, all right, I guess we're really fighting, and like so they'll stand up and their wounds will just seal and the blood will fall off. It's just like, fucking let's go, all right, let's do this, I guess this is it. And it's just like, oh, that's cool. So like they're acknowledging their gods. It makes this being a video game really strange because like why would Kratos ever die? But sure, whatever, let's just go along with it. So like it's a lot of it's a cool fight, but like yeah, there's a whole slow. But like, yeah, there's been a couple times now where I'm like, I really want to play that game, but I've been neglecting it because I was like, well, I want to just play WoW, or because I just played a bunch of WoW. Oh, I should talk about that. Holy shit! All right, quick side tangent. God of War 4, not terrible, just really slow and really kind of boring at times. And then I was talking about Solo. I think I was also very. Oh yeah, I was because of the dual dagger thing. Let me get through this first. Yeah, I thought Solo was a lot of fun. Really fucking cool. I heard that they were signed on for 2 other movies. I don't know what the fuck that means or who the fuck was signed on, but I heard that phrase uttered twice. Never emphasized. Obviously, it's from a podcast. So I can't research it further from that statement. It could be wrong. I could research it on my own right now, but I'm not going to bother. So if there's more Solo movies, I'm all about it. But it bombed, apparently, or didn't do well. I don't know. What is bombing for Star Wars? I don't know. Who knows? So, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I kind of hope there's more with these characters, even if it is like a Lando movie, or if it means we just do like the Boba Fett movie that they announced like the day this thing came out, and like Han plays into it in some way or whatever. Something goes down where we have a little bit more of these characters, because I enjoyed it. I really enjoy like these rogue stories. I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's really cool. I just really, really had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, like that was one thing I thought was so weird is like, after I saw it, I was like, well, I'm delightfully surprised. I didn't like Rogue One that much because I don't like war movies. Figured that out much. I was like, oh, I guess I just don't like this genre. It's not for me. And then I didn't like Last Jedi, obviously. It's been talked about ad nauseum on this show. Because it's just pretty much a side quest. It doesn't feel like it's, I was thinking about it the other day, and like it kind of was just like the opening scroll. This movie could be summed up in that, where it's like everything's fucked. That could be the start of it, and just move on from there. So like it's not, I don't know, it felt weird, off, and then like not letting things finish in ways that I would have liked, but whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm delightfully surprised. I like Solo. Let me check Twitter, see what the hashtag's going on. And it was just a bunch of people who hadn't seen the movie and either hated Star Wars or hated the Star Wars fan base, and that was it. They're like, either people going like, Star Wars is SJW garbage, or people being like, fucking all Star Wars fans are a bunch of bastards, fuck them all. And that was it. That was every fucking post under the Solo movie hashtag. I don't get it. I don't understand. No one cares about Star Wars anymore. They don't give a shit. They just want to fight. And this is like this weird battlefield. Everyone's universally chosen. This is the battlefield. This is where we fight. This is where the battle happens. This weird franchise that I enjoy. I've learned to distance myself from my feeling, or more contain my feelings for The Last Jedi. Obviously, not for me, but what are you gonna do? Not everything's going to be. That's fine. I got my original 3 movies. I'll just move on. I have Solo now. I'll move. I'm good. It's all right. There are movies there that for me, that's fine. I don't, I don't have to be obsessed with everything. And even then, they're not too bad. I was actually thinking about rewatching Rogue One because I'm like, I think I could like this movie if I just, now that I know what it is and I kind of have a, and it sounds weird to say because like we obviously all knew it was going to happen, but like I kind of know what's going to happen, so maybe I can like have it in a different perspective. And then maybe if I watch Last Jedi in a different state of mind, I guess knowing that there's going to be jokes and it's going to be kind of cheesy at points. Which is like the first thing that took me out of it, and then obviously Space Leia, go fuck yourself. That's still the dumbest thing. Whatever. Even people who like the movie are like, yeah, it's pretty stupid. But I digress. I bet I could find some things I actually enjoyed about it, and like really like be like, well, all right, it's not too bad. Like I actually really like Benicio del Toro in the movie. He's pretty dope. Cause I like that thief. I like that fucking who knows what they're doing, who knows whose side they're on. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. Which is kind of fun about this movie because everyone was like, the ending got kind of silly with the amount of like, and I double crossed you, but I triple crossed you, but I triple quadruple crossed you, and like just back and forth. Who's really the good guy? And like I've heard people complaining that like, oh well, is he like a rogue or is he a good guy? Han Solo has always been the good guy, always. What is the ending of the first movie, guys? Like he just comes up. No one prompts him to show up. He's just like, he does the right thing. Han is constantly, it's like, the person he leads himself to be is his life, money, and then the right thing. But sometimes that gets shifted. Like, those are the 3 things that really, like, motivate the guy. And, like, usually it's money I guess money would be the first one. That's why he takes jobs or says he does something. And then his life becomes, usually his life becomes in danger. You got to take care of that first. But always falls on the right thing. I don't know where people are getting this idea of, like, I don't know. I guess they just kind of, like, have the idea of, like, rogue. He's just always kind of not a good guy. But he, like, I don't understand. Like, the end of the first movie, he has no reason to come back. They've given him his money. He's left. He's done. And he comes back and he saves the day. Like, that's who he is at the core. And, like, he's going to be kind of prickly and difficult on the outside, but he's defensive, and it's it's a part of him. I don't know. I don't know. It's a strange character type, I guess, too, when that comes to that kind of thing. Of like someone who's kind of cold on the outside. Like I was trying to think about like how to make a Berserk show, and like it's tough. I don't know how you do it because that opening section, the Black Swordsman arc, Guts is really cold, and he's very like kind of creepy and crazy. It's because of but like that also sets up the like supernatural elements of it, and then we go back to the Golden Age arc where it's pretty much just a fantasy story until the end when the crazy supernatural shit happens. But then you learn why Guts is who he is. But like my one friend had watched the old anime, which pretty much is just the Golden Age arc, and he was so confused by the eclipse. Like, what the fuck? This came out of nowhere because there wasn't that Black Swordsman opening of like, this is the universe we live in. Like, the opening scene is Guts having sex with a woman, and then she turns into a demon, and it was turned out to be the woman, the demon he was hunting, the apostle he was hunting. So like, that's kind of like, it sets the tone of the universe. There are monsters in this universe. We open with that. There are monsters here. But Guts is so unpleasant, as he's such a prickly protagonist. You're like, this is an interesting person to be following right now. And then you go back in time, and now you see why you're following him, and now you're like, oh, okay. But like, how do you open with that? That's so crazy. That's a tough opening. Like, if you don't sell people immediately with like gore and action, but now you're selling to the audience that's not going to really enjoy the nuance of Guts and Berserk and all that shit that we later get, where, you know, Guts is feeble but still trying to be tough, and he's trying to defend and save Casca, and and he feels these horrible feelings because of the things he's done. And he's gonna make up for it, but he's going to die fucking trying. Like that, like who Guts is, you know, all that kind of stuff. But like the interesting psychological philosophy stuff that happens with Berserk, you don't get really in that opening bit, but you need that opening bit to kind of set the pace and the tone of what's going on. So it's weird. It's a weird build. I don't know how you do it. I'm not sure how you'd build a show like that. It's very interesting. I was trying to figure out how to do it, because it's so different. It's such a weird thing. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Solo. So people might not like him. I guess, I don't know. I think it just doesn't seem like much to me that, like, you know, he's always kind of like, you know, he's kind of goofy, but he's not. And the one thing I did like about this movie is really he was kind of the one who's just kind of the joke, but like, and I've heard people be like, well, he's supposed to be the big confident one. Like, yeah, he is confident, but some of it is unwarranted. Like, that's kind of the charm of some of this stuff, where it's like, he's kind of cocky and cool, and he does cool things, but he still kind of fucks up occasionally, and like, I don't know, I like it. I think it's cool. It's kind of a fun thing. I've always liked him. I don't know why, but I think that's just because like it's a predisposition of like, you just like this thing. It's very strange. So I was gonna briefly talk about this WoW stuff I did the other day. We're just gonna get into it quickly. So they had like the weekly event right now. They did like one weekly bonus for everything, and it's Battlegrounds right now. So I'm gonna do some PvP. I was like, this will be fun, whatever. I do a couple, win a few. I had to win 4 or something. So I was like, all right, this is fine. I had a really bad game on the one with the balls. I forgot what that one's called. The one from Miss Pandaria with the orbs. It's not fun. Whatever. I can't scratch that one because I got to get rid of AV and Isle of Conquest because they're horribly imbalanced. So I thought. Someone in my guild's like, hey, does anyone want to run BGs right now? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll run BGs. So I'm already doing it, might as well. So I jump in with them, and they don't have AV checked off. They don't have Alterac Valley unavailable, or like vetoed. That's the better term for it. So we get it. I'm like, fuck. If you're trying to win BGs, why would you leave this one on? It's so rare that Horde ever win this. Like, what were you thinking? Wow. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't say it to them. I said it to myself while I was playing. I was like, fuck, all right, this is going to be really annoying. Like, it's going to be over in 5 minutes, because that's how all AVs go. Everyone just zergs each other, and it's over. We'll be fine. Someone just happens in the chat, be like, everyone play defense at the commander. So, like, the map is set up where it's basically, like, PvE, but with PvP in between. So you have to kill these NPCs to weaken basically your other team's army, or you kill the opposite team's general and win the game. So what ends up happening is people just rush through. You take out these towers, which weakens the general because he loses lieutenants that give him buffs. So if you take out the 4 towers, then the general is really weak. You take your army, you crush the general, you win the game. It can be over in like 5 minutes. That's why it's like really poorly structured, like geography wise. So like it's not great. And Horde lose it like 90% of the time. It's not very fun. But there's like these commanders that are like they're like big parts towards this this like push. You take out the commanders, it sets the pace of a lot of stuff. So that's usually how it starts. Take out the commanders, people trickle through, grab the towers, then everyone meets back up with the boss and you rush it. But the way the map is structured, Alliance can get to the last boss a lot faster. And like with minimal fuck ups, you can really set the like Horde have to like if Alliance take a certain thing, Horde end up just losing. If they take I think it's a graveyard or whatever, then everyone they just lose. So he's like, we're just gonna play heavy defense on the commander. And then whoever dies, just back cap towers they take. So we defend for like a minute and a half. They fucking run, it's 40 versus 40. So they run like 30 guys at us. There's maybe 15 of us in this bunker. We die, whatever. We then just go back and back cap, where each of these towers has maybe an alliance member, maybe 2. Just sitting in there, we kill them quickly with like 3 or 4 people. And we back cap our buildings, or our towers. And all of a sudden, the game fucking changes. Several times, I'm opening my map going like, how are we winning? This is so weird. We're not, like, the numbers, so, like, the map originally was designed to just kill the general, and that's how the game ended. But that would lead to games lasting for, like, 8 hours. Because the way this map is structured, it is a literal war. Like, the battlefield is, like, between objectives. It's so crazy. And, like, several times, like, based on who took what graveyard, because that basically determines your spawn point when you die. So, like, you can if certain graveyards have been taken, it becomes, like, super tight funneling where people just run at each other forever, and, like, it's so hard to break ground. And, like, you need, like, a forward operating group of, like, rogues and druids who can disappear and, like, get past that shit without being seen and go and start taking objectives because it's just way too hard. So, yeah, like, we started just backcapping, and then, like, a couple alliance, like, took one of our try to take our, like, cap, because when you capture a tower, it has, like, a 2-minute timer, so you have, like, 2 minutes to get back to it, recapture it, and it goes back to your faction, and then they have to recapture it for the 2-minute timer again, so it takes a long time-ish. That's what I'm saying, it takes, like, 5 minutes, because if you can grab each tower really quick, they all tick out, like, about the same time, and then, boom, you push the boss. It'll probably take close to, like, 8 minutes, that's probably more accurate. But then, yeah, so all the towers tick off, you zerg the boss real quick, the match is over. So it can be very fast. But once we started taking these towers back, like, all of a sudden, the wave of, like, tower loss stopped. We lost, like, our south tower by our main base, and then someone just went back, recapped it, and then all of a sudden, we stopped losing bases. I was like, this is weird. And we started pushing 4-1. And then, like, so, like, we kept everything. I just ended up, like, playing, like, defense. I was, like, running between different towers, like, making sure we still had these forts and stuff. I was like, this is weird. Why do we have these still? And, like, they would cap one. I'd go and I'd kill the 2 people that were in there, or the 1 person. I'd help people come with me. And then we'd back cap it. All right. And then, like, we ended up actually taking the first tower. The first tower to fall was, like, ours after, like, 15 minutes of, like, this weird actual war. And it was so strange. And there's, like, this one graveyard off to the left that's horrible. It's a dumb fucking position. I forget which one, but there's a faction that if they take it, they just lose. I think it's Alliance. No, it's Horde. I forget. Maybe it's Horde. I think it's Horde. If someone takes it, it's so out of the way and so awkward. And because it's slightly ahead of the actual good one, it fucks up the team because, like, you always spawn at kind of like the closer one or whatever. So it can really fuck you up. It's a really bad position. And then all of a sudden I see someone take it. And I'm like, oh, the Alliance take it. I'm like, that's weird. Why is that one being taken? That one's so out of there. But they, like, needed a graveyard because we'd already taken a few, having them spawn super far back. We were actually able to push forward. All of a sudden, someone's like, oh, go kill Belinda, who's their commander. Not the general, but, like, the first thing you're supposed to kill. I was like, oh my god, we've been here for 20 minutes. No one's even killed this person yet, so we have to go over there, kill this NPC. She's finally dead. Now all of a sudden the actual they added this reinforcements thing, so you have like 500 reinforcements. So every time an objective is actually destroyed, NPCs are killed and players are killed, the number ticks down. And then certain major commanders or towers, stuff like that, they are worth a certain amount. So, like, we were down in reinforcements, we killed Belinda, and then we actually were up in reinforcements. And, like, there's, like, these small little pockets where between graveyards, basically, there was just 38 people on each side. Like, occasional stragglers doing other things. But, like, the actual mines were being taken. There's, like, 2 mines that, like, if you take them, they give you reinforcements, or make your reinforcements stronger. I forget exact what they do, because no one ever takes them. I actually don't know. I don't know what half the things on this map actually do, because no one actually does them anymore. No one's done them since vanilla in 2005. It was, like, the last time anyone's ever played this legitimately. I have no fucking clue what happens half the time. So these mechanics are happening. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but people are doing things, and I'm vaguely familiar. Having played this game for so long, but I've been avoiding this map for fucking 6 years. I have no idea what goes on in this anymore. That's the other thing too. It's like Horde doesn't even play this map anymore. So if I'm on Horde, I don't even attempt it. I don't know what the hell's going on. So it just actually became a war where, like, there were pockets where we literally could not push because there was 40 Alliance just on this road. Like, there's this part where it's like this, like, valley, and then this road, like a mountain road. And it's the only way to get, really, to the Alliance fortress. And there were 40 Alliance on this road. We could not go any further. And we had to fall back, but we fell back to our graveyard. They pushed, and I think they took a graveyard that was like one of ours. And but there were people out there still taking our tower. We were taking down towers, and we were, like, actually pushing them. This is like I think this game went on for like an hour and a half. It went on forever. And, like, or something. It was a long time. I wasn't keeping track of the time, but, like, all of a sudden I was like, why is this still going on? Several times opening my map, looking at the amount of towers, I'm like, we've actually taken towers. We've destroyed towers, and they have not destroyed one yet. What's happening? I'm so confused. We ended up losing a tower, but we'd already taken, like, 3 of theirs, or we had taken 2 of theirs and their commander, and I was like, I don't even think it matters. Like, we actually, like, some people were like, we should just push boss and just try to win. And every time we'd attempt that, though, there were just 40 Alliance on the road, because they were trying to get through us, because we had not let them actually move. And it was the weirdest fucking game. We actually won by draining their reinforcements. We had killed them 500 times, basically. Plus their commanders and their various towers and stuff. But, like, more or less, we had killed 500 Alliance before they could kill our 500. We had, like, 117 left. It was the craziest game of this fucking game I've ever played. It was so nuts. It was just, I've never seen this map actually played properly. Because everyone's like, fuck, I hate this. We're just going to zerg each other. And everyone just does that. But Horde just has to play a little defense. And you just watch the Alliance crumble and not understand what to do. Because no one has had to play this map legitimately in quite possibly a decade. It's so weird. No one has attempted this map legitimately in so long that once you just do one thing slightly out of the ordinary, you stop the Zerg rush, no one knows what to do. And it became an actual war, and, like, the Field of Strife was actually a place where people, like, massive battles were happening. Because, like, that's just where the 2 nearest graveyards collided there constantly, because people weren't letting graveyards being taken. People were recapping things, and it was insanity. Cap, short for capture. I did not define that. I should have done that earlier. It was insanity. It was so fucking crazy. And I legitimately think it went on for like an hour and a half. It was so crazy. A lot of fun, though. And we ended up winning. It was so weird. I haven't won an AV game in so long. Bunch of people in the fucking... every time someone gets an achievement, it pops up in the little chat. There were so many Alterac Valley wins for the first one popping for people. Because I've played this character for a long time, and just all achievements are shared now, but, like, I've had one for a while. But to see how many just Horde for the first time actually won this was crazy. It's like, oh my god, no one wins this. Why? This is so crazy. Just by playing a little bit of defense, it works this way. And then I played an Eye of the Storm game. Actually, I think this game came first, but that AV game was insanity. But I played an Eye of the Storm game, which is, it's actually, I was realizing how well designed it is. It's basically Warsong Gulch, which is just capture the flag. But with this, there's also 4, like, nodes, they're towers, I guess, that all they generate points for your team. So if no one ever caps the flag, theoretically, the game will still end. I don't remember if there's even a timer. Oh, there's a timer, because this plays very important. Oh, no, it doesn't. There's no timer. I don't know. I forget. No, because there isn't, because the actual game type is designed to be the timer. So there isn't an actual timer. Warsong Gulch needs a timer. So, the game is being played. It's being played like normal. And the reason it's designed so well is because everyone loves in Warsong Gulch just fight in the middle. So they put the only flag in the middle. So it's basically like there's these 4 points that you capture, generating a passive point total. First one to 1,500 wins. And then there's a flag in the middle that gives points if you capture the flag. I forget how many points it gives, but I guess it doesn't totally matter. So we had somehow miraculously captured our second point faster than they had, which doesn't make any sense because you theoretically should capture everything at the exact same time. And the flag should be the thing that really determines the difference in points. Or if someone attacks a point, then you can capture it for yourself and take it. So it starts off like normal. Horde have their 2, Alliance have their 2 on their side of the map. And there's like 3 bridges that connect it all. So in the middle, there's the flag, and it's why it's well designed, because everyone wants to just run at the middle and fight. Now you're fighting for an objective. So it's like really well designed for like World of Warcraft PvP player like mindset. Like it was designed around like how we think as a player, as opposed to here's a game type that could be fun. Like Warzone Gulch is more like capture the flag is fun. So it's not really too well designed, but this is like capture flag is fun, but World of Warcraft players are fucking crazy, so just make them fight in the middle. They just like to run at each other. So it's well designed in that aspect. You have to run to the middle to really make a big change in the game. So I'm watching the middle. There's a huge battle. Fucking so many particle effects just being thrown at the flag. And I'm like thinking just like, oh man, I guess if you just like throw like just constant fucking AoEs on the flag, like you could almost like stop anyone from getting it, because if you get hit while you're trying to cap the flag is a very slow like capture bar you have to fill. If you get hit while it's going on, you stop capturing it. So I'm like, oh, if you just throw that, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm watching this whole thing go down for like 5-10 minutes. And that was interesting. It was a very slow game. No, the flag's not being taken. Flag gets taken, Alliance captured. All right, this sucks. So we gotta do this. And I watched an Alliance run at one of the other tower, because there's no one defending it. It was like me and one other guy defending our tower, and someone was over and they take the tower. I'm like, all right, I want to go see if I can stop this guy. So I run over and try to fight that guy, and I don't think that fight even went that well for us. So we fight over there. It's not going great. All right, fuck it. We gotta grab a flag, plant the flag, and then go take another base, and then we'll kind of be able to even it out. So we work towards another base. We take that base, and all of a sudden, so now it's the same situation. A couple flags have been traded back and forth. So we're ahead, but like the map is a little structured differently, because now like what the cool thing about it is like normally it's, there's a line of scrimmage. It's 2 bases, the middle, 2 bases, and that both factions have it. And so we had like switched to be like diagonally. So like they had 2 on a diagonal and we had 2 on a diagonal. So it's like a weird. It changes the flow a little bit more in terms of like where Alliance and Horde can spawn at each other, and it kind of creates a little bit more of a hectic environment, a little bit more fun. But yeah, so all of a sudden we got the flow of battle is slightly different, but I have an add-on that will tell me like who is going to win and how long. So usually it'll have the faction, the little timer, and it's going to tick down. And so we're about to win in 30 seconds. So I'm like, all right, cool, this is good. We've turned this game around. We were losing pretty hard because we lost a tower, we lost a couple flag plants, but we got it now. We're good. And so we're going to take this thing, and we're going to win. We have 30 seconds. Should be no problem. As long as they don't get the flag. At almost exactly the 30-second mark, they get the flag. And it's by a druid, druids are very mobile. They have and he's playing, he's running around in cat form, I think, because I think if you're hitting travel form, you get fucked on. I don't think it's good for you if you get hit in travel form. I forget. You can't mount up when you have a flag. So you can't move that fast. So classes with high mobility, demon hunters, rogues, druids, these are the people you want, warriors, say if you're heroically, you want them to take the flag because they can move faster with it. So I'm like, okay, it's a druid. That makes sense. They got their sprint, whatever. They got stuff. They have answers. All we have to do is literally stop him with crowd control for 30 seconds. And it was the way crowd control works in this game now is a system of diminishing returns. So you can't be perma-stunned in this game anymore. You could in Vanilla WoW, which is why rogues are stupid in Vanilla WoW, and I'll be playing one in WoW Classic. But you can't now. So as a rogue, if I run up and I cheap shot you in my opener, and I'm hitting you, and I cheap shot you a second time before my subterfuge wears off, and then I go for a kidney shot, my kidney shot will not last whatever it is, the full 6 seconds or whatever. It's going to be half that or even less. I don't know the exact number because I don't even do this because I know this mechanic exists, so this would never be a thing I would do. It eventually fades, and you can get to the next, the diminishing returns resets, and you can go and get a full one again. And blind works this way for rogue, stuff like that. So I have a bunch of abilities that do similar things, but you can't stack them like you could in vanilla to perma-stun someone. It's designed to not do that anymore. But we had 30 seconds to hit every fucking CC on this guy. My first kidney shot didn't even do anything. If they're on full DR cooldown basically, any cooldown or any move you try to hit with them with a DR just doesn't work. Just bounces off of them. Or any CC just bounces off of them. So we're hitting them with every fucking thing we can do. Everyone is sitting on them. He has 3 healers sitting all around him, just keeping him alive. Just trying their best. So anyone who doesn't have a fucking cool CC on cooldown, or every CC on cooldown, they're just pounding him with damage, and everyone else is trying to crowd control this guy. And for it was the longest 30 seconds of my life. He had to walk not more than 60 in-game steps to turn this fucking flag in. He had nowhere to go. He was so close. And we won. Oh my god, it was crazy. Literally at the last second, he's at the fucking, his character model is overlapping with the fucking capture point, but you have to kind of move your, I think it's this, because he's a cat, so the front of his cat I think was close to it, his face was almost touching it, but his core of the body I think had to cross over, something like that. He was so close. It was crazy. It was so fucking nuts. The amount of he was so slow. Watching this cat just crawl this 10 feet. It was so crazy. He was so slowed. It was so nuts. What a fucking game. Holy shit. It felt so good. I was that was the best fucking game. Win or lose, that was going to be the most fun I've ever had in the fucking game. That was so much fun. Just having to adjust on the fly and learn and shit. Oh, so good. So fucking good. Oh, what a game. I enjoy WoW so much. Alright, I guess the last thing I really want to talk about, and I mentioned it briefly earlier, is Nirvana the band, the show. Mainly, fucking watch it. It's only in America in the first season. Purchase it. I'm about to purchase it a second time because I depart the second season and I feel bad, so I'm gonna do it that way. And it's amazing. It's so fucking good. I don't want to really get into it too much because you just gotta experience it. You gotta experience it. And the best thing about this whole thing is I entered I'm part of the Facebook group, and to get in, you have to answer a trivia question about the show. I didn't know that was a thing you could do with Facebook groups. That was so fun. They just go pot of black. If you don't know what that means, you're not getting in. This is amazing. It's so great. It's so much fun. The best show ever. I've already watched this first season 3 times. Holy fuck, it's so good. I love it so much. Stop what you're doing and fucking buy it. Just go buy the show. Even if you're not going to watch it, buy it so that I get more. Well, I don't know. Technically, I don't think we're going to get more because Viceland kind of shut down and that's who was running the show. But I read somewhere that the 3rd season's still going to happen. But on the Vice channel, Vice was airing unfinished episodes or something, and it's weird. I don't know. But it's fun because the main cameraman, one of the main guys, runs a Facebook page, so it's all great. Everyone's close. It's a very small show. Their subreddit has 1,000 people in it, and I had the Facebook group open right here. Let's see how many people are in this. It's not a lot. 2,000 people. So it's not a lot of people are in this Facebook group. It's very small. And it's basically just people quoting the show to each other. It's a good time. But oh my god, it's so good. It's so funny. And so inspiring. I'm just I cannot even believe that this is people have come up with this. I'm blown away. And the things because it's kind of like a prank show, more, and not really. How do I explain this? It's kind of so it's Matt and Jay are playing characters in the real world. So they're fake. Everyone else, everything that's happening around them is real, and they're reacting to the real stuff. There's occasionally a plant, Kevin Smith's in an episode, and he has a conversation with Matt that has to move the plot along, so it makes sense. But then a woman walks up to him, and they changed the episode because of that. I think I've talked about this a little bit on the other episodes, but I've since watched the first season several times, so I just feel more and more inclined to talk about it. It's amazing. I love it so much. Just buy the show. You don't have to do it for me. Just do it for me. Just buy the show. Don't watch it. You don't have to. You can if you want to. If you want to be enlightened by glorious television. And I really just want to find more and more behind the scenes stuff. Because, I've watched so much of it. And, every time I'm seeing more stuff, I'm I've found some behind the scenes stuff. And they're oh yeah, we almost got kicked out of Canada's Wonderland. They even tried to take a camera from us. It was not fun. It was almost real bad. It's what the fuck? That's crazy. This show's crazy. I love this show so much. So I'll watch season 2 by the end of this. I'm sorry, Matt and Jay. I want to support you guys. If I drive to Toronto and hand you guys money, would you guys just grant me permission to watch this 2nd season? I just want it so bad. I want to give you more money. I think I might buy this first season on every platform just to support this in every way I can. Because mostly I don't want to have pirated it for a bad reason. Oh, what a television show. It's so good. So delightful. So delightful. But, alright, I kind of told myself I'd only do an hour and a half. And so I did. And, more or less. So, thanks for sticking out for 50 episodes. If this is your first time, welcome. I assume podcasts are much like comics. Everyone's first. So, hello. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for indulging in my nonsense. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Go out and make something cool. Even if it's, whatever. I don't care. Anything you do could mean something to someone. You never know. Like, it'd be crazy. And like Jenny Nicholson, she's just sitting on her bed talking to a camera, and she's a pretty successful Patreon. Like, she does a good job. She's good for herself. She has good views. It's like 100,000 views a video. Like, she's doing great. She has more views than the Kind of Funny guys have in like a month. It's crazy. So, you're great. Just anything you do, you never know. You never know. And it's like so crazy to realize, like, oh shit, I'll never fucking know. I could do anything. So, and even if you're talking about a weird thing, it's you never know. You never fucking know. So, always go out there, do your thing, live your life, have a good time, and love and kisses.